Hello again, wrestling fans. This is a special day for, well, myself at least, and I'm sure a lot of fans out there because Scott D'Amore has been fired. It took longer than expected. We had a show around a year ago that was titled Scott D'Amore on his way out. Exclusive news or something like that. It finally happened this week. Now I just want to quickly, hang on, discuss Impact, whatever, what the hell we call it? Discuss TNA Impact Wrestling. I'm Jason
Hi.
here with the I'm Jason here with the Horror King, who's gonna have to shut the hell up for a minute, just so I can run down. I want to make sure everyone knows what the facts are here. Fact one: Scott D'Amore was fired. Ratings were historically low under him. Nobody that ever ran TNA/Impact brought in ratings and viewership as low as him, other than Double J when they started. He pushed his girlfriend to the top of the knockouts. She's now the number one contender. That's a fact. Days after he was fired, which is today, Anthem announced that they'll be using TNA talent on other Axis television shows. Eric Young is going to be the host of a show called Vinyl Obsession about rockers searching for vinyl treasures. Also, Kazarian, Josh Alexander, and Eric Young are going to appear on Axis Top 10, whatever. We'll get to that after. Something that's never happened before. So it shows they haven't given up on TNA. They've just given up on Scott. Once again, he was fired. There's no mutual parting of the ways bullshit to make the person look good, which they usually do. And I think that is all fucking fantastic. We're going to get to the rumors in a second, but Gary, first, what are your quick thoughts?
I've seen the writing on the wall because, like you had mentioned, the ratings were kind of going in the toilet, and like it seemed like they were just satisfied with the current status of the company, which was pretty much mediocrity.
Yeah.
And when it was announced that he was being fired, I didn't really find it all that surprising. I guess he became a bit of a fanboy for his own product. So, I'd like to see Scott, land on his own 2 feet in BCW or whatever he does. But I just feel like he really was happy with it being kind of boring, if you will, Jay.
Yeah, and we'll get to the rumors in a second that say what Scott wanted, but first, no one knows about this. I have exclusive audio of Scott actually getting fired.
Your negligence has damaged this company's reputation. You're fired.
Okay, see, that came from Ed Nordholm. I shouldn't be passing that stuff around, but here's another.
You're fired. Get out of here.
Yeah, there's another. Now, here are the rumors. We already talked about the facts. Here are the rumors. Scott D'Amore wanted Braun Strowman, and Anthem didn't think he would be worth the investment. Now, question for every Impact TNA fan out there: who wanted Braun Strowman? Did you want to pay a shitload of money and watch a crazy ass long Braun Strowman push? Do you think Braun Strowman would have brought ratings? First of all, he's enormous. He would have made everyone look tiny. He's not that good of a wrestler. Like, does anything about Braun Strowman say TNA? Gary?
No, totally not. I thought back when it was announced, I was kind of hinting at it. I think it was at a Toronto Blue Jays game, I believe.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
And he threw it out there, and I'm like, you better deliver on this. If
Yeah.
you don't, and that's another example of, poor management and under Scott, because he shouldn't open his mouth unless he's, the ink's dry.
Same with Jericho. Remember they teased Jericho?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Also, Scott got fired right after he got off the Jericho cruise. I mean, not literally, but I think that could be something. There could be something with the timing after Vince McMahon, with all the shit that he got. I'm not saying he's as bad as him, but if he's like 1/1000th, even just banging your own
Yeah,
talent.
and
You
well,
know
and
what I mean?
then
Like,
Brock
oh yeah,
Lesnar's in the hot water as well. That I
oh
heard a
yeah,
little bit about there, and I'm not
yeah.
gonna go.
Yeah, that's the whole thing that we can't even I can't even keep up with all the Vince shit. I mean, yeah, he's evil. Vince is evil and all that. Totally agree. Scott's nowhere near that, but like he was fucking his talent. That's a fact. And in my mind, from the conversation I had with Ed Nordholm that I literally posted, it's like a picture on one of our old videos, like to just prove that I actually got one. It's literally from Ed
Well,
Nordholm, and
Didn't he back in the day when I remember you sending that to him and kind of corresponding with him? Didn't he act kind of like
Yeah,
shocked,
that was
like
on
he
the.
didn't know?
Yeah, now everyone can listen to that on the video we have from about a year ago, which I mentioned with the title, Scott on his way out, and you can listen to the story. I don't know, it was a weird thing. I was kind of like working. I was like I was always promoting them in different ways. So like, I have like a billion Anthem contacts. And then a few of them got fired. They cut, I don't know if they cut staff or whatever, or like the impact part of staff. But that started like over a year ago or 2 years ago when that happened. So like, there's so many little things that
Well,
people have no idea about. But yeah, so whatever.
and
The
then
point was, like
and
I was
then you
talking to Ed. Yeah, sorry, I was talking to Ed about like a bunch of different things. I swear to God, one of them was like, I was just a dick because I don't have anything to lose. Like we didn't have anyone on the podcast. Like I didn't want that. I like the idea that we can say whatever the fuck we want, like about whatever. Like I don't have to like we don't have to bow down before anyone. But I was talking to these
oh
people. Like I have emails to and back from Ed Nordholm, the fucking a billionaire who runs the company, and he was shocked when I told him or I asked him. I was like, about Scott and Giselle, right? And like I was like kind of threw it. Like I was like, they're clearly together. Like there's a picture of them in pajamas. She just posted it like 2 days ago on Instagram. Or that was like two different conversations because he wrote back like, those are really bad allegations you're throwing out there, Jay. And like I wrote back like, I was trying to be nice, but it was like allegations. I'm like, dude, it's on Instagram. Here you go. I sent them the link. Like, I don't know. That
yeah,
was.
yeah, I remember it pretty vividly because they were around the Christmas tree and they were wearing like matching
Yeah. And
pajama like get up.
yeah, and Josh was there with his wife, who also worked for
Oh,
the
okay,
company.
yeah. I
Uh,
thought somebody else was there, but I
who
couldn't
also got a
remember.
job for the who also got a job with the company recently. But whatever. So I have a theory on if it had to do with Giselle, why would Anthem take so long to fire Scott over the Giselle thing? Or maybe it was a bunch of different things. But I have a theory and it's simple. She's transgender and we are living in a pussy woke era. So, who knows what they had to go into that, what they had to look into, what they had to future lawsuits they might have to clear out or something. I don't know, but I just don't believe this shit about Scott was going to buy the company while he was working for Anthem. Like, I don't know how that makes
Yeah,
sense. It
like
doesn't. It doesn't make sense in my head. And also, I just don't see Braun Strowman as a Scott guy. I think this is all bullshit stories people are throwing out there to try and make him look better. Because the only fact we know is he was fired, and most people don't get fired. They get the fucking mutually parting ways bullshit. He didn't even get that.
yeah, it just like was like he was there and then bam, it was like transition into into obscurity. Like like you normally get a your future endeavor kind of
Yeah,
thing, and
exactly. Yeah,
you didn't get to any of that kind of
yeah.
thing.
He didn't
Like
get
I think
nothing.
Anthem has gotten to the point where they're sick and tired. I think they were sick and tired of uh more or less the same rotation. We were going to the same places, and somebody had mentioned they didn't like the turnout for the Florida tapings either. So that again falls on creative
I mean, it could
and
also
people
be.
that
Yeah. How
you
about just
know.
TNA? How about TNA? TNA came back in
Yeah,
what? Yeah. January, and they lasted 2 weeks getting viewed
yeah,
in terms of viewership.
yeah.
We
And
haven't
I
seen.
think that was a big
Yeah, we haven't seen their
part of it.
ratings. He lasted 2 weeks getting over 100,000 viewers, and then who knows where they're at now? Maybe probably back down to like 70 or something. And
Yeah, and
again,
I think we're
I
thinking
feel like this is. I
200,
feel like this is. Yeah, sorry. I feel like this is huge news about.
200
So yeah, they had 250,000 when they started on Access. Like it's possible, and now they're getting like what 60, 80. The end of last year was garbage. A bunch of people tuned in for the TNA rebrand, and guess what? They.
somebody had said, didn't New Japan pass them 1 week or awful close? I believe.
I wouldn't be surprised. They're getting destroyed by midget wrestling. But PWI reported that several TNA wrestlers are set to appear on Access TV programs in an effort to integrate the company with the entertainment division. Now, doesn't that seem really fucking smart?
Yeah, it seems to me a couple guys mentioned they should take advantage of the HD net and Access TV, and I don't know who those guys were, but they were ahead of the game before this
I
all
mean,
came into fruition.
they have a lot of shit, like the Game Network. Uh, what is a fight? They own the Fight Network, right?
Yeah, Yeah, they own
So
Fight. What else?
yeah, they own a ton of shit.
Some
Like
other.
Anthem is very successful. If people don't realize, like these guys are legit
Oh yeah, they
billionaires
own a
who
lot of.
like these legit billionaires who run the company. They know what they're doing. And if Scott, I would have loved to see their faces if Scott came in there like, listen, I'm gonna buy yous out. Here's my team behind me, and he's got like two guys with fucking ATM cards or some shit, and these billionaires are sitting there like, on islands that they
Well,
own or whatever.
well, I guess what was all funny about it all is I guess it's being reported that he made an offer to the company, and I'm not a businessman, and I'm sure you're not either, Jay. And I guess
Kind
in the
of.
business world, if you come to your the big wigs and you come and say you
Bosses.
want to buy the company, it's like a slap in the face.
Oh yeah,
I don't
totally.
know. I don't know.
Totally. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
I don't
how
know.
that works, but
Honestly, I can't. I mean, I don't know. I can't. I feel like Scott loved TNA so much, he would have never done anything to put his job in jeopardy, other than fucking talent and stuff like that. But I mean, like in terms of like, I don't think he would go to the owners like that. I can't. I can't picture him risking TNA. Like that was his fucking life. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, and like he was there from the in the early
Yeah.
days or like day one, and to like throw it all away. I don't know. He kind of almost threw it away like Double J did. Only in his case, this was due to drinking, and I don't know if it was like drug issues maybe too.
And I'm pretty sure
But
even
like
Double J. I don't even think he got fired after all that. Did he? Didn't he get like the mutual parting of the ways? Like nobody really
yeah,
gets
I think
fired
he got
anymore.
little bit more of a. And then there was bickering over the GFW tapes. I don't know if Anthem had deleted them all, and there
Yeah.
was you know the court drama, and I just don't want anything like going on like that. I hope there's no loophole that he can sue TNA for breach of contract or some shit like that, because we don't need that right now.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just looked that up fast. Jeff Jarrett. They announced they severed ties with him. I don't know. I feel like severing ties is better than getting fired. And Jeff Jarrett did all kinds of crazy shit. This dude was drunk and like fucking with the Hardys when he was drunk, who he was friends with. That dude didn't
Oh
get
yeah.
fired. He got his ties were severed. So whatever. I'm curious. I think there's gonna be more to the story, but whatever. Back to this PWI thing. So Eric Young is gonna host a season of Vinyl Obsession, and then Kazarian, Josh Alexander, and EY will appear on Top 10 Revealed and the very best of the '80s. Now, yeah, I don't watch Axis. Um,
And I believe Eddie Edwards has been on the top 10 revealed before. I think he was on it last year.
well, that just
Maybe.
killed my. Well, that just killed my "it's never happened before" thing. But okay, cool. And I think it's very smart. Look at the names: Kazarian, Josh, EY. If anyone wants to say they don't know what they're doing, just look at those fucking three names, man. Those are the guys you want to keep happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Especially Josh, like keeping Josh happy and putting him on fucking other shows like this, like EY, who didn't even sign with Scott. Ever remember that? Very good friends with Scott. Scott could not get him to do anything other than a handshake agreement. And now they have him on a fucking different hosting a show. So they're probably going to sign EY if he's not signed already. Legit. So that's
Well, the
great.
thing is that they can kind of double dip a payday too,
Oh, yeah.
It's the kind of thing like that like might draw like ex TNA talent like James Storm and
Definitely.
anybody that's kind of like went into hiding or whatever, and
Yeah.
just over wrestling or whatever.
I
I
mean, I know
just think
EY.
this very
Sorry.
viable. Just it's a very viable option that other companies can't offer currently.
And that kind of answers the question of that I've always asked, like, do they have to stay on Axis? And well, I was talking to our producer Larry about it, and he was like, "Yeah, idiot. That's kind of the whole point. They're not leaving Axis. Like, Anthem needs it to be on, or like they're gonna have it on Axis. Like, they're not gonna share it. It's not gonna go anywhere else. They're gonna make it as best as they can on their network. And now they're actually trying and doing things that would make that work. Which I mean, it's literally week one of this, and they just announced it. So I don't know. I think it's really cool, and it just shows they didn't give up. That was my biggest question going into this. Now I just
I
think they need to
think they're
hire
cool.
the wrestling guy.
I think they're more than okay if they stay on Access. My thing is you need to get it more accessible. Like that's the goal. They need to try and.
Yeah, like for example, I have YouTube TV. If enough fucking fans out there just wrote to YouTube TV, we would like access. That's how it works. It's that simple. That's the only way to get them on. Like unless I don't know, maybe they make a deal with them behind whatever. But that's how YouTube TV works. So anyone listening, I have YouTube TV. I already did it. I mean, all they would do is add it. You know what I mean? And that's who knows how many more people can watch it. But
Oh
whatever.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be a lot better than what they got currently.
Yeah. Now let me get to a story about Tommy Dreamer. According to Tommy Dreamer, he spent more than 10 hours using his phone the day that Scott was fired, responding to emails, attending Zoom meetings, speaking to the roster. Now here's the part I don't believe until I see video. The former ECW star was so swept up that he wound up forgetting to eat. I've read a lot of bullshit in wrestling, Gary, but this might be the biggest piece of bullshit I've ever read in my life. Tommy
Yeah, I
Dreamer
don't know.
forgetting to eat.
Where did that story derive from, Jay? It was kind of
It's a
weird, like to
that's a
hear
wrestling.
that.
It's a wrestling Inc. story. It's like Dreamer saying that
Oh.
Scott was like the heart of the company, and like how Tommy
Well,
kind of had to do all this stuff. So I mean, I guess they're keeping. I mean, Tommy's still there.
Well, that's what I mean. Like how I wonder how much this will affect, the current landscape of the company, because you got people that are diehard Scott, kind of like friends of his, and like I know Moose said if it wouldn't have been for Scott Demore, there would have been no
Yeah.
Moose and
Yeah.
A,
Well,
and I just hear things like that. It just kind of scares me. Like, if they really
yeah.
wanted to walk, probably not much, anybody could do. But I mean, where do you go from there? If, like it's going to be pretty big.
Where's Moose going?
Yeah, they'd probably be able to get him for breach of contract. Too,
I mean, I love Moose. I think he's great.
Oh
But,
yeah.
I mean, he has had some issues like, I don't know, I forget,
Yeah.
domestic, whatever. And I mean,
Yeah,
listen, like here's what he is. He would be. He said it. Moose said it. He's like, I would get buried in one of the other promotions. He said it himself, and he definitely would. He would not be a world champion anywhere else. So I mean, sure. Listen, if he wants to leave and be a fucking mid carder or a low mid carder in AEW or WWE, whatever. He's been around for a long time, and these motherfuckers have money, man. They'll find people. They'll get more Kazarians. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? Maybe they'll work with AEW, which I don't really want, but there's all kinds of things that can happen now. We know they're working with WWE. That wasn't Scott. That was these fucking people.
Well, just to the new TNA's credit, not under Scott. I guess this new guy has a lot more like know-how when it comes to like I don't know, like booking venues and like he's a businessman, whereas Scott's more like a fan boss, kind of thing.
I mean, first off, I'm extremely happy that we're not going to see guys like Alpha Bravo. I can't wait till that dude is gone. Just got people that are friends with what's his name, the other dude, Swinger.
Yeah.
Johnny Swinger said he would have a job for life because he's friends with Scott. I feel like when things get out there, it's like, I don't know, you kind of lose credibility. Like first of all, Swingers should not have a lifetime fucking contract anywhere. Johnny Bravo should not have a lifetime contract anywhere. Like, these guys should be fucking gone. They're not television characters. They're crewmen at best. They shouldn't be on television. They're Scott's friends, and there's a bunch more like that. His girlfriend is the fucking top, is the number 2 knockout right now, which is absolutely insane.
Do you think Iceman and the Intel will be part of Impact still?
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Is our fans gonna stop watching if there's no more Iceman Intel?
Yeah.
Does anybody watch that? Is that even still a thing? I don't watch Explosion. I don't know.
I don't think I've been more excited for a set of tapings than the one coming up for
same here.
No Surrender.
This is literally the first time.
I can't wait to.
I mean, it's the first time in how many fucking years that Scott is not there?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Honestly, I guess this is the first taping since Double J. I guess. Without Scott, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
We really lost each one too, because we lost Jarrett, then we lost Don Callis, now we lost Scott. So it kind of like, I don't know. I guess Tommy must be stepping up into the Scott role of sorts.
Yeah,
I hope not.
Hope they bring someone else in, but we'll see. I just want to quickly about the actual show that we're talking about, because I think that totally fits in with what's happening. Again, our friend Christian Thompson gave this week a 6 out of 10 and said that was a better show than last week, which really wasn't hard to achieve. There still wasn't a stack of quality wrestling, and you can't achieve much by continuously having 5 to 8 minute matches on weekly TV. Now, Christian Thompson, again, great writer, TJRWrestling.net. Like, that's not me. I didn't like Scott. They liked Scott, or, whatever. They didn't have, like, any problem with him or anything. And, like, a lot of people out there, okay, 411, for example, He-Man Shoe gave this week a 7.1, and he usually overdoes it. So that's more like a 6, I think, for most people. And you can go back to the last few shows. Like, no one is giving them good fucking ratings on their shows. They're not getting good ratings on their, on television.
Yeah,
like,
there's no draw.
And it's a month into fucking TNA. Like, I'm sorry, the man failed. It's a month into TNA 2.0, and even fucking fans are bored.
There's like none.
I'm bored. Nothing is in there. There's no draw. There is no draw. There is no Impact is not must see in any way at all right now.
I might want to say, though, before we get into the review, they did a pretty touching moment to kick off the show in memory of Toby Keith, who passed away. Mm-hmm. I seen somebody in the comments, not on our channel, but on a site, and they mentioned, like, oh, the new management put you up to that? Like, duh, you obviously don't know TNA. He was this close to TNA with Jeff Jarrett. It was like, how can people that be that uneducated make stupid comments like that in the comments,
Ignorance. It is what it is. But, to be fair, it is a little... TNA is, like, it's different than the other ones, like, because they don't have, like, a Triple H or a Tony who's, like, the loud person who tells everyone what's happening. Like, TNA did, like, even, like, Scott never did that when he was on Facebook or Twitter, like... And we complained about that. Like, he wasn't, like, promoting enough on, like Tony Khan's a fucking lunatic. Tony Khan's a lunatic promoter on Twitter. Like, say what you want about the guy. He'll keep you fucking interested.
Yeah, I will give him that. Like he's never one for lacking to say something on social media.
And that motherfucker would take a bullet for his company, But whatever. So to this show, Chris Sabin, John Skyler was the opening match, which is fine, except, did anyone think Skyler had any chance in hell?
Like, aren't they hinting at Skyler and Hotch joining somebody? I can't remember going into this. It's like all this Scott news kind of confused me. I don't know if it's going to be. Are they going to be joining Mustafa Ali as kind of like the hit squad for him?
Possibly, I'm not sure.
Just let's move along. I was throwing that out there.
Again, Skyler is another one. Skyler is one of those guys who's definitely a Scott guy who he's going to lose the match. And to me, it's like, why are you on the show? I know you're going to lose the match against Sabin.